baby.
Ricky, thank you for coming. I dig your tattoos.
Thank you.
Your tattoo work is amazing. Obviously, you've done 2 tattoos for me. You've done a big tattoo for Zach on his arm.
Yeah.
And I plan to get a lot more from you coming up in the future. But your schedule is just nuts,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
How are you?
How do you keep up?
How
Crack
are you doing
cocaine.
it?
No. I just I work really hard. You know, I'm just an industrious person. I like to work as much as I can. Unfortunately, I had a career before I started tattooing, and with the pandemic, it's kind of hard to give up that career.
Dude, so let's take it back a little bit. Before you got into tattooing, you're a nurse,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
And where do you do nursing?
Actually, RMC in Anniston.
Okay.
You know, I'm originally from Hoax Bluff, Gadsden area, and you know, there wasn't really many opportunities for art out there. You know, I've wanted to do art since I was a kid, you know, in some way, shape, or form. But unfortunately, you know, they don't really have art classes. They don't have, you know, outlets you can have. So, you know, I was thinking from a logical perspective, you know, I come from a single mom home, and I wanted a career that, you know, I could get out of school, work, you know, make money, you know, help the world, you know. So I did that for 7 years.
Nursing.
Yeah.
Now, where did you go to school after high school?
Gadsden State.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at any point in your schooling to become a nurse, did you think, man, I'd like to do tattooing
Tattoos,
of all
baby.
things?
Dude, I wanted to be a tattoo artist since I was like a child.
Really?
Yeah. I just didn't know anybody in the field. You know, I guess it started with my dad. You know, my dad had an uncle, Bo, right? There would
Uncle Bo.
yeah. He was in and out of prison, you know.
Okay.
It's kind of a rough
Positive
guy,
example.
a very interesting dude. Okay, because he later on became like a gospel singer and stuff. But he was in and out of prison, and he gave my dad his first tattoos when he was 12 years old.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Is that even
Damn.
legal? Dude.
I don't guess it was a thing back then.
Out
I
in the
know.
country of Alabama.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know my grandmother beat my dad's ass and tried to go after my uncle pretty hard because of that. But, you know, growing up and seeing cool tattoos on my dad, and, you know, everybody, or a lot of people my age that got into tattooing, it was either, you know, Miami Ink or LA Ink, stuff like that, or Ink Masters that really got them interested in it. To me, it was kind of showing me that, you know, tattooing is an art form that you can actually produce really cool stuff, and it's actually a possibility because growing up in Alabama, you didn't see the, especially in the country, the higher echelon of tattooing. You know, you could see what would be considered like Japanese traditional tattoos, but a very Dixie Dan way of doing things.
Okay.
You know?
Not a lot of people in your hometown that were doing like really like awesome work.
Well,
I
they
guess.
were definitely doing good for what they were given. You know, I don't want to talk shit about any
Sure, yeah, that's
Gadsden
fair.
artists. You know, but you know, it's different when you see somebody who's doing amazing freehand, you know, Japanese traditional and stuff. It's crazy. You know, things that they could do. You know, I remember seeing like a back piece on there that went from someone's thighs all the way up to their shoulders, and I was like, man, I don't see none of that like that around here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. So when you started doing nursing, at what point did you take the leap, and where did the transition? That's what's always amazed me is like how you even get into.
He's in there doodling on patients' papers, and drawings and stuff. He's like, "Oh man, I gotta do something about this."
You're really not far from it. You know, art was always like a hobby to me. So, like, I was always drawing, you know, and what I would do when I was off is go to bars and just draw because I have really bad ADHD, and I had to have like a loud, sort of chaotic environment to actually thrive in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
hence the nursing.
oh yeah, yeah. I was always like drawing at bars and stuff, and then one day, we hit a lull. I guess we had low patients or high staff, something like that. But I was drawing there, and I was thinking, this is kind of a gift that I'm wasting. I could do some cool stuff. But I was like, I really want to get into tattooing, like seriously, because I'd talked to people about it for years, and I'd drawn up designs for people, and I'd talked about wanting to pursue it, but it was never really a real opportunity.
Did you have any friends that were tattoo artists or working at shops or anything?
No.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know anybody.
So you didn't know anybody in the industry?
No.
Okay.
No, I knew of one or two people, and I tried to pursue tattooing with those people. The only unfortunate thing is when I tried to pursue my apprenticeship, you hear about artists that will charge somebody $3,000 to start an apprenticeship, and then 6 months in, they fire them for whatever reason. And that just fiscally didn't seem like a responsible decision,
Sure.
So I'd really just kind of given it up, honestly, pursuing it, and, kept drawing and kept coming up with stuff, and was really wanting to kind of do like pop art on Instagram, right?
Okay.
Until somebody messaged me, which happened to be Dave Rankin's daughter. She was like, I really like your art. My dad owns a tattoo shop. You should talk to him about an apprenticeship. And, I was like, yeah, I could do that. But I was worried about if it would cost anything and if it was going to be a similar situation that I was offered before.
Now, for those that don't know, Dave Rankin is
My mentor. Yeah.
Okay.
He is the owner of 222 Tattoo, which was in Avondale, that unfortunately burned.
Burned. Yeah, dude.
Burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there, I think it was like Halloween weekend, like 3 years ago, and I went and talked to him, and he said it wasn't going to cost anything. I'd just have to be there. I'd have to work really hard, clean the shop and do whatever they asked of me. But that was worth it. That was worth it, But yeah, I am so grateful for Dave and Alexa Rankin, because they ones that brought me into the industry for real.
Dude, I used to, living over here in Avondale, we drive by the shop all the time, and I was going in there to get a tattoo one time and get one scheduled or lined up, because I think Rizzo was working there for a while. He may have apprenticed under Dave too. I'm not sure, but yeah, not long after that, trying to get something scheduled over there, I went into the shop one time and got to see like the lobby and stuff. And then about a week later, it burned to the ground. And I was like, what the heck?
It
what happened?
sucks, man. It was such
crazy.
a cool shop, too. Like, it was set up like an art gallery. We had independent rooms and stuff. But apparently, I was at the hospital that night when it happened, and just working, doing my thing. And I get a call at like 4 o'clock in the morning by Dave, and he's just telling me that the shop is gone,
Dude.
And honestly, this is probably a year into my apprenticeship, and all my art was in that shop.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Man.
Yeah, so I cried. I bawled, head down to Birmingham, and then we started going through stuff,
Was there anything salvaged from it? What caused it?
Okay, apparently,
I heard lightning, but
yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it was a storm, but, they did 2 arson investigations just to try and check out and see what happened, because it really wasn't clear what happened, but they were showing that, the lightning storm caused that, especially where it hit. It destroyed the roof, in particular. It's a real freak accident. It doesn't really happen too terribly often. I think it's like 1 in 2,400 of those instances actually burned down a building, but
You've been smite by God.
yeah. It definitely,
Crazy.
yeah, it definitely was a kick in the nuts at the time. But, I'm very grateful for it at the same time,
Yeah.
because, my apprenticeship at 222 was great. I loved it. But going to the Great Wilderness, I learned a lot.
How old were you when you were
Yeah.
that first year you were apprenticing at 222?
26.
26 years old.
Or actually, talked to Alexa when I was 26. I started when I was 27.
So she just randomly reached out to you. I guess you'd been posting like artwork online and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'd followed her, and she was making like music and stuff, and I thought the music was really cool. So I was messaging her, telling her, I like the music or I like the video or whatnot. And then she, happened to look at my Instagram and saw my art and stuff, and I really kind of looked into it, honestly.
So she was just like, "Oh, you'd probably be good at tattooing."
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you remember your first tattoo that you ever did?
Yes. Yeah, I did
Nervous at all about doing that?
Yes, I was shaking like a dog shitting bones, honestly. Yeah, I remember before my first actual tattoo, I did a Rick and Morty tattoo on an orange, and Dave and Rizzo were standing over me in this room, and my hand was just doing this because I was using just a cheap Amazon coil machine that I bought not to tattoo people with, but just to take apart and put back together, which is dumb on my part because now I don't even use a coil machine. I wish I knew more about
I don't
them.
even know what a coil machine is.
Okay, there's several different types of tattoo machines. One is a rotary machine, and they both came out at similar times back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s,
Okay.
But a rotary machine, you take a electric rotary motor, and it turns that spin and that torque into, downward push and pull.
Okay.
Right? Whereas a coil machine is made out of magnets, and the circuit from the magnet drives that needle down. And when the needle bar comes down, it will disconnect the circuit, and so it'll bounce back up. So it's rapidly cycling up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most common machine that
The rotary,
tattoo-
wouldn't it?
I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's what would
think-
Magnets, man. How they work.
Well, the thing about it is,
ICP.
Sorry.
woo woo.
Sorry.
The thing about it is, they're both used widely.
Okay.
In traditional tattoos, a lot of people are loyal to the coil, and
Loyal to the coil.
yeah, which I just don't have a background to it. I respect it. I respect the hustle, especially people who build their own stuff and can take it apart and tune their machines. That wasn't a part of my apprenticeship because Dave was using rotary.
Rotary.
Yeah.
But you bought one off Amazon, so anybody any future tattoo artists out there,
Yeah.
you can get some gear off Amazon. I mean, buy anything on Amazon, but
You really can. But I was trying to just take it apart and understand it. If that's a thing with my career. I might not use something, but I want to understand it.
Okay.
It's always good to have extra stuff in your tool shed.
So when you get started, before you tattoo people, I've seen some of these like reality tattooing competition TV shows, and they're tattooing on like a dead pig or something, like like what you would see in like a butcher shop.
Yeah.
Basically just the closest thing they can use to mimic skin. I can't imagine you doing that. You said you were tattooing on an orange.
I tattooed oranges. I've tattooed pig feet. I've tattooed.
You're going to the store and
ears.
buying pig feet,
Yeah,
pig
yeah.
ears.
Well, that was the thing. I was really wanting to start tattooing. A lot of the times apprenticeships won't let you touch a tattoo machine until later on. And for me, and they want you to watch your mentor. But I'm not really a visual learner. I'm more of a doer. If someone can talk me through something, I can learn more from that than what I could watching somebody and going back to try it myself. So every chance I could get, I was tattooing some inanimate object. And Rizzo would let me borrow
The couch.
He's got fruit, big feet everywhere. It's like, damn it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, and it's funny. I kind of miss the smell of it.
Really?
It's weird. It was just a good time in life,
Pig feet and citrus.
Pig feet and
Citrus
tattoo
in the
ink.
Well, it was really fun. It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare to human skin at all,
Okay.
But it kind
The
of
texture of the smell. What are we talking about here?
hey, you'd be surprised by how close the smell is sometimes.
Okay.
Just the texture.
Okay.
The skin is processed and it's a little moist and like slimy almost, so it's hard to get a stencil on there. The fake skins, they're not really super accurate either.
I was about to say, is there like a product out there that is manufactured for up and coming tattoo artists?
Yeah, it's called like Pound of Flesh, and you can get like off-brand
Pound of
too.
flesh.
They're super expensive as well.
Yeah.
You can get, they come in all kinds of like shapes and stuff. So you can get a skull that's like flesh toned, and you can get.
I've seen one of those, but it was a guinea pig.
Yeah. Yeah. They have one that's a rat with an ear.
Yeah.
So it's just random
Yeah.
things, and you just practice tattooing all over it and buy another one. Okay.
Yeah. Really, just tattooing people is probably the best practice that I had for real. And it has definitely been a trial and error, process going from trying to learn how to line and learn how to shade and color pack. And I'm learning
trial and error. Yeah.
Ooh,
that's an error. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's what an apprenticeship's for.
Did you ever I know some guys they would just tattoo themselves, like tattoo their thighs or tattoo their feet or whatever body part you can reach. And just use your own leg as a canvas, to start practicing your line work.
It's kind of a tradition for tattoo artists to do their first tattoo on themselves.
Okay.
I did mine on my ankle, which is kind of a wonky skull and crossbones with a crown on top of it, just a silhouette of it. And then,
man, it seemed like it'd be hard to focus though. Your ankle, getting a tattoo, depending on the part of your body, is a pretty painful process. And then trying to also focus while you're doing that, I don't know.
Well, what was crazy is I couldn't feel the pain at all, just because I was so focused on what I was doing. For one, I'm folded up like a pretzel, in Dave's tattoo chair, and working on myself, and then for two, this is my first tattoo ever, and
so he's supervising while you're doing this?
Yes, yeah, off and on, I think.
He's just like, I ruined your foot. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I'll come check on you in a little bit.
I think he didn't want to watch everything that I did from seeing me shake so bad on that orange. I think he was like, he might be the type of person that if I'll check on him here and there as he's doing this process, what's the word?
Critiques.
Make some adjustments,
okay.
And let him do his thing. He'd probably do better off than if I was lurching over him the whole time.
A true master can see that in a person and know when to back off.
Yeah, but then a year and a half later, I was working on some new techniques, so I tattooed myself again, just because I'd rather try it on myself than what I would on just a random customer,
Sure.
I would love to tattoo like more friends and stuff from back home, but I live an hour and 15 minutes away from home, so a lot of times I can't make it back in to get tattooed and stuff when I'm available.
So the first person that actually was like, okay, I'm going to get under Ricky's needle, who was that person and what did you tattoo?
Miranda, I think her last name is Sellers. I worked with a tech at the hospital, and her daughter, me and her ended up being friends because I think she worked at the hospital as well at one point. And I was like, hey, I'm doing a free tattoo. If it gets messed up, my mentor will fix it, or I'll fix it later.
Is that the caveat? Like, hey, there's this really good tattoo artist that's in the same building, so if I screw it up, he can fix it. Don't worry.
Well, I think it's just like, most people are understanding, this is an apprentice, they're learning. If you're willing to take that risk, you can get a free tattoo.
Okay.
And you would be surprised how many people would just love to get a free tattoo.
Yeah, sign me up, man.
Yeah.
I'm down.
And it actually wasn't a bad tattoo. I did like a heart ribbon that was for like suicide prevention and stuff.
Okay.
Which, if anything that I start my career off with, it'd be something like that because it's super cool. I don't know what it looks like now. I haven't seen it in a hot minute.
Compare it to your work nowadays. Yeah.
And I tattooed. I was doing a lot of silhouette tattoos as well. Which
I guess that's more simple. I mean, that's a good thing to start out doing.
Well, it teaches you technique. Because packing in black, you would think would be one of the easiest things. But it is quite difficult, especially for somebody new, and I was learning on a rotary machine, which is a softer hitting machine, a lot of times with what's the word for it?
A coil machine?
No, just super tight needles and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, bug pin needles, which are a different variety of needles. So you have different thickness. So I was using like bug pin needles, and it's really hard to do that. But the thing is, that process taught me some things about myself, And it also, if you're drawing and you're coming up with pretty cool stuff, every tattoo artist has an ego on them, whether they want to admit it or not.
Okay.
It's good to be humbled right at the beginning of your career.
Sure, yeah. Just go in there like, okay. Whew. Did you know in the beginning, and tell me about that apprenticeship too, when you're not tattooing, but you're at the shop for a year. I would imagine several days a week when you're not nursing. And what does that apprenticeship look like? And did you know what direction, as far as like the style of tattooing you wanted to do?
Well, the apprenticeship, between nursing and that, usually I'd work 7 on, 7 off, right? And on the weekends, I'd work 8-hour shifts. And the other days around that, I'd work 12-hour shifts at the hospital. Any 8-hour shift, I was driving to Birmingham right after work, sleep like an hour or two, then work at the tattoo shop till it was time for me to leave to go back to the hospital. And I was working
You're a madman, dude. How are you doing this?
Yeah, Red Bull.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I just don't really get much sleep, honestly. Like I said, the ADHD brain has me going all the time. So, but I was trying to work every day that I could, and I believe we were closed on Sundays and Mondays. But even then, I was trying to go in and do what I can, or at least have a place to draw for a little bit. So during your apprenticeship, every one of them's different.
Sure, I was about to say, yeah.
Some are a lot tougher than what I had, and I'm so grateful that I had what I had, because back in the day, it used to be, like in places like New York, you'd have 12 people show up to be an apprentice, and it's whoever ate the most cigarette butts or something like that would be the person that watches someone tattoo for the day. And thank God it wasn't like that. Now, I did do a bunch of shop work. I was breaking down and setting up everybody at the shop, when that was a thing. I think Rizzo, I'd set him up for the most part. Like, I didn't know anything about his machine, so he handled that. But I would set up Dave and Rizzo and break down after they're done tattooing. I would clean the whole shop. Winter, summer, rain, I was outside washing windows, inside washing windows, mopping at the end of the day every day, sweeping, answering the phone, and just trying to watch and take in as much as I could, and also draw too, because you want to constantly be creating art, because that's what gets you used to coming up with tattoos, and it really teaches you things about art in general. And again, I didn't have any, I don't think, I had an art class in high school, but that was not an art class for real. Like, we had a teacher that took up money for T-shirts and stuff, and then she ended up taking the money and like pocketing it. What? Yeah, and then ran off. She quit.
She quit?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to have a tie-dye day. We need everybody to pitch in for the supplies. And then she's just like, peace.
Yeah. So I was trying to learn from the tattoo artists that I really, really look up to, and I really, really like their work.
Yeah.
So I would see what they do. I would analyze their tattoos and be like, okay, this is what I like about this. Maybe I can use that in a drawing, or, they do this a certain way. I would have never thought about doing it that way. And it's still something to this day that I do,
Yeah.
You want your art to look like the people that you look up to, not blatantly rip them off or anything, but there's definitely techniques and stuff you can learn from them.
Sure.
Plus, I like whore myself around on Instagram trying to get critiques and stuff as much as I can, trying to see, what I can change. And for the most part, I'm super hard on my tattoos. Like, when I get done with every tattoo, there's at least an hour that I sit at the shop. If it's a long day, if it's small stuff that I'm having to get in and out. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I always reflect and look at my tattoos and, critique them myself, because I've found that I'm way harder on my tattoos than what, other people I've asked.
Sure,
me.
Yeah, you're your own worst critic.
Yeah. And, I know what I'm lacking, and it's just a day-to-day process to improve that. No one's perfect. Every tattoo artist makes, mistakes every day while tattooing. It's just how they fix it and make it look as good as possible.
How they keep their cool. Like, oh man,
don't
spelled that wrong.
That's right,
That's an extra E I didn't need.
Yeah, thank God that I haven't spelled anything wrong. I've gotten into a pretty good habit of triple checking any sort of spelling that I do.
Okay.
Even simple stuff. My clients must be looking at me like I'm an idiot sometimes.
Reread it.
Yeah.
Show it to them.
Yeah.
This is what you want. Show it to everybody else in the shop.
Yeah, I try to. I'll try to.
So you spend a year apprenticing at 222 under Dave. Get your first tattoo or two under your belt. At what point did you really start tattooing on like a more regular basis?
Well, I kind of hustled my ass off during my apprenticeship, for real. Can I curse on this? By the way?
Fuck
No, you can't. I'm just kidding. Yes.
No, yeah, basically what I was doing is drawing up Flash every week, coming up with something new, trying to get people in. And it was stuff that I could do, so whether it was redraws of Burt Grimm stuff or coming up with silhouette tattoos and stuff, I was like, $20 tattoo, I will get you in, and
Just on like social media, just pushing it out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
People probably got tired of me because I was doing that every day.
Unfollow.
Well, you got
This dude
to
is-
get your name out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I didn't know anybody in Birmingham when I moved up here, So I basically moved from a city where I had a bunch of friends. I had, people who knew of my art even before I started tattooing, to come into a place where I didn't know anybody. Like, my closest, relative is in Moody, So basically it was just like, sink or swim, It was either I'm going to hustle and do good or else, I'm going to fail.
Okay.
It was kind of have to. But, yeah, the way I started, I did a couple of free tattoos. And then Dave was like, okay, you can charge them $20, and you can use my supplies. Give me the $20 that goes towards the shop, and whatever you make in tips, you can keep, So I was just trying to make up the money of having to drive up here every day, and yeah, it was pretty good. I learned a lot about myself at that point. I learned a lot about tattooing, and I've had, Dave is my mentor who brought me in, but I've had a lot of people who've given me real good, rough critiques, and I've had a lot of friends and stuff who are real with me when it comes to my art, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You can tell me I can improve on this, or you can be like, this is shit, whatnot. But,
Ricky, you sorry, but that ain't it, dog. You fucked that one.
Yeah, I appreciate
You
that.
charge
man.
them for that tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I really appreciate the people that have been, who have pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, the shop burnt down, and we went to, after the shop burnt down, I was scared that I was going to lose my career because all my supplies that I did have were gone. My art was gone. And I'm in a city where I just moved here a week before the shop burned down.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and now the shop that I'm working at is gone, and I don't know any other shops. And the thing is, I was an apprentice, so, I was kind of, I think, at the end of the day, I think Dave would have brought me wherever. But at the end of the day, I was worried that, whatever shop was going to get us to come there, there was not really going to be a space for me. Because we had some offers. We had a couple shops. I'm not going to go into names or anything because I'm not like shit talking or anything. But a couple of shops were offering, two rooms, 2 spots, 2 booths for Dave and Jen, which would have left me to tattoo when they weren't there. But luckily, Chaz, who was opening up his own shop, came and worked for 222 for a little while he was making his. So,
And who is that?
that's the owner of the Great Wilderness Tattoo.
Okay.
Full
Cool.
circle.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So when the shop burnt down, Chaz was like, "Got 3 booths. You, Jen, and Dave can come," and we were like, "Hell yeah,"
Okay.
And it was really different from Avondale. The types of tattoos you get offered to do out there are kind of different.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Where is Great Wilderness Tattoo?
It's about 20 minutes north of Birmingham in Warrior, Alabama.
Warrior. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know how far north it was, but yeah.
Yeah. A lot
Is that north? Is that 65?
Yeah.
65
Yeah.
north? Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I get my map right.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit different because it's more of a country town, you know. So
Those deer heads ain't going to tattoo
heads,
themselves.
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, you know, it's a lot of the same stuff: pocket watches, roses, you know,
Crosses.
Christian stuff. Yeah,
A lot of crosses.
yeah, yeah, just stuff like that. But I'm pretty consistent about what I put out. So the people who want to get tattooed from me kind of know what they want to get.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's to the point now that I find it hard to keep up with messages. So I don't really do too terribly many of the walk-ins. Like, I'll do them if I just have free time and we're overflowing, but mostly I book day to day,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it was completely night and day. I know we went from being at a tattoo shop where, you know, everybody had their own booth, everybody had their own room, to an open floor plan, you know. And it was really different because if you messed up, everybody in the shop's going to see it. So
Yeah.
it kind of put pressure on you, you know.
Great Wilderness having that open floor plan,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah. But the thing is, you could also get a critique. You can, you know, get advice from your coworker who's right there, you
Yeah.
know. It was good and bad, you know, because I loved the way, you know, 222 looked. It was super cool, and then going to a country shop where it's an open floor plan, it was just night and day. It was more of a street shop environment, you know,
Yeah.
which I wasn't used to.
So how long had Great Wilderness been open at the time that 222 burned down and then you guys were making the move there?
I'd like to say like 6 months. 7
Okay, so
months.
not a long time.
No.
So he came and did some tattooing at 222, left,
Yeah.
started his own shop.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, you guys are like, hey, we need a space to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there ever talk about, after the place burned down, about getting it up and going in the same location? Or
There was, but it was just probably more of a headache than what Dave wanted to take on.
Sure.
You know, because you have the insurance money and everything, but, you know, we're needing a shop like now.
Yeah.
You know, we were needing a shop right then.
Can't wait 8 months
Yeah.
to get the building back up and
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
So that he was talking to people about clearing it out and fixing it. And it was really muggy, like real muddy how we were going to figure that out there. But we ended up, Dave decided that, you know, it was just too much of a headache for him to go through that again. I think Dave had a really hard time with losing the shop.
Oh,
too.
dude, I can't imagine. You said you lost your artwork.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
artwork that he had in there.
Yeah. He had a ton of paintings.
Yeah,
some,
because the one time that I came and was on the, he actually came out and was talking to some people, and I saw all this amazing artwork all over the walls and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, I painted this, I painted that." It was like an art gallery, and we're just like walking around. He's giving us like a little mini tour. He's like, "Oh, he had this like really cool shark painting."
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I remember.
That's actually at the shop at Great Wilderness.
Oh, that survived.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, a lot.
awesome.
Some of the paintings in the main lobby survived. They had some smoke damage, but we were able to kind of clean them up and everything.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, you know, he lost some of the best paintings that he had. I believe he had a guitar that was once Dave Grohl's guitar.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's ashes.
Priceless,
He had a
stuff.
guitar that was signed by B.B. King, so he lost a lot, you know.
Dang.
But, I mean, I think Dave's better now. I think he's closer to retiring from tattooing.
Well, I was
You
about to ask. I ran into a guy randomly. I was at Harbor Freight in where is that?
Center
Over in
Point?
Homewood,
Oh.
the West Homewood
Yeah.
location.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy in there, and he had a tattoo. I don't know if he was working at Harbor Freight or if he was just in line in front of me. And he had a sleeve, and I got to talk to him about tattoos, and he mentioned Dave.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yeah, Dave, a tattoo, 222 or whatever." And then he was like, "But Dave's not tattooing anymore."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that."
Yeah, he had some issues for a minute with like his shoulder and his back and everything. And I can understand that. And plus, you know, I can imagine the toll emotionally that takes on you losing your business and everything.
Oh gosh,
But
yeah,
I
can
think
imagine.
he is pursuing a more religious lifestyle right now, and I think to him that takes priority. And
Sure.
honestly, I'm happy for him. If he's happy, he's happy. I'm happy.
So he's not tattooing at Great Wilderness currently,
No.
as we speak.
No.
Okay, cool. Because I think the last tattoo I got by you, maybe he was there.
Yeah, he
Maybe it
was.
in the back. So this is pretty recent.
That's what I wanted to ask. So, how did you stumble upon Ricky's work? Because we had both been talking. Anytime we go out to bars, we start talking about tattoos. That's like the number one go-to.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we had both been looking for a while to a point to where I'm just so fatigued about trying to find someone to do tattoos that I just don't want a tattoo anymore. Like It's just too much work. So I put it off, but Alex kept pursuing, and then he finally came to me and he was like, "You didn't even tell me that he came back with the tattoo." He was like, "Oh yeah, I found somebody, been talking to him for a while. Here it is." And I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. I had been tattooed by some dudes here in town in Birmingham, and I'd found some other great tattoo artists who I haven't been tattooed by yet. But I don't know, for whatever reason that summer or whenever it was, I just got really into like looking up local tattoo artists. And a lot of great artists in Nashville, a lot of great artists in Atlanta, but trying to find somebody here local. Shout out to Josh Kaiser and his wife.
Yeah, I love their work.
They are amazing tattoo artists. Shout out to all the dudes at Good Neighbor. They are solid. Jay's done some tattoos for me.
Yeah,
And,
I was nervous about tattooing you because Jay's work on you.
Yeah, well, Jay's really good, and just wanting to kind of expand my horizons, you know, and just get tattooed by a bunch of different people. And I just surfing through Instagram found you, and was like really impressed. You know, your line work was really good, and I kind of knew in my head what I wanted. And we can get off into all the. I'm more of like a traditional dude. I like traditional tattooing, but I do like the tattoos that err on the side of like neo-traditional without being full-blown comic book style.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just seem to fit that perfect, man. Like I saw your artwork and just the stuff you're putting out. I was just like,
there's kind of a niche for that right now. You know, there's a lot of people who don't want the super traditional tattoo. You know, they respect it. I love and respect traditional tattoos, but for my palette of art, it's just not what I draw on the regular basis. You know, like I said, there's a certain part of me that loves that, and there's no disrespect there. But what seems more right in my mind, if that makes sense, is kind of making traditional theme designs that err on the side of neo-traditional, like with different line weights, you know, different colors that aren't traditionally used, you know, and it just made more sense to me, you know. And so, you know, I started looking on Instagram, and a lot of the traditional tattoos you see now aren't really traditional tattoos, you know, because you got to go, it all has to be one line weight.
That's about to say, if you had to break it down, and we had this conversation the last time I was there, the tattoo I was getting, it was kind of half neo-traditional, but it was still overwhelmingly 80% American traditional.
Yeah.
But I guess the different line weights and maybe some of the colors you used.
For those who don't know, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So we got into this whole conversation. I was like, how do you define a traditional tattoo versus a neo-traditional tattoo versus... I mean, some of it's obvious realism and Japanese, you know, traditional and all that. And it was cool that you kind of broke it down. You're like, well, I'm doing different thicknesses of the lines that I'm tattooing on you, and I'm using maybe some brighter colors. I don't. You could probably speak to it on a much more educated level than I can.
The traditional tattoos, the palette's limited to certain things like reds, greens, browns, yellows, and usually it's a big bold line, and that line is the only line size. You know, that's what I mean by
very
line.
Cartoony looking. Right.
And you can get some that err towards more realistic, more anatomically correct, but it's usually just simple designs that will last, you know, a lifetime. That'll look really good, you know, and you know, I just have an eye for more like of complex stuff, you know. I like doing really weird blends. I like putting a lot of tiny details in tattoos and stuff. But I love traditional tattoos. So neo-traditional that's leaning traditional is, something I like to do. But I've always liked, neo-traditional tattoos as well, And at the point I'm at now, I'm trying to do as much as I can and learn as much as I can just because I'm so, I'm wanting to broaden my horizons.
Sure.
As a young artist nowadays, there's kind of pressure put on you where you have to focus on one particular style of tattooing. And that's what's kind of being shown to get your name out there, to get you business, and get you remembered, So, there's been periods where I'm like, I'm only going to do this, or I'm going to try to only do this,
Yeah.
because that's what, Instagram, the things that get you business in your local area are kind of wanting you to do. But at the same time, I've only been a tattoo artist for 2.5 years. So
That blows my mind, dude. So Nick's got your Instagram pulled up and just looking at some of your latest work, and you don't post all the time. But man, that's like that first picture, Nick,
All of
up
it.
there in the
All
top
of it.
left, like this skull design that you did. Like I would call that probably a neo-traditional tattoo.
yes, sir.
It's got some of the flowers and stuff. And if you're not watching this episode on YouTube, you got to check it out. We're talking to a tattoo artist, so.
Yeah, you gotta watch
But the
it.
skull design, like the flowers look more or less traditional, but then you have the fine line work that's all in the image itself, and then you've even got the highlights of the white around it, and it's just, and the line work is so amazing. Like everything is so sharp.
Well, that was
It's-
something that I
dude.
definitely was a weakness at starting, and I would still consider it a weakness of mine at the moment. It's not where I would like it to be, but
You look at that tattoo and think, nah,
Yeah.
it could use improvement. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean,
'Cause
there's
that looks.
there's definitely some things that I would
That's
change
amazing.
in hindsight, but I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to do as many seminars as I can and learn from as many people. There's also pressure on tattoo artists to do guest spots, to go and do conventions right as soon as you come up. And I am going to be doing a convention. I'm going to be doing Space City Tattoo in Huntsville in April.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out. That's my first one. But
Yeah, I know the Good Neighbor dudes go to that. They try to go every year.
yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
They're really good. I really respect those dudes. But like,
But just looking, a lot of like neo-traditional and traditional work. But if you scroll down, Nick, just a little bit, that on the left, you've got what looks to be like that one right there, more realism.
oh yeah,
So your ability to do like completely different genres, if that's even the right word, genre
Yeah.
of tattooing is awesome.
Well, I just respect tattooing in general. I respect the tradition, and I really like where different style of tattoos come from. Like starting off on black and gray tattoos when I was starting, I learned to use like a stipple technique. So I use a tiny little needle, turn my machine way down, and kind of blend everything together through that, And that was a technique that was developed in like California prison system and stuff. And some of the things
shank
these
tattoos. Yeah.
yeah, some of the things these dudes can do out in the West Coast is incredible. So I was like, I want to learn how to do it that way.
Yeah.
So, I learned that. And then I was like, let me see how far I could take this because I was just using black at the time. And then I started mixing washes in with that. And then from there, I started using mags. So, and the thing is, when I do art at home, it's mostly realism stuff.
Right.
I paint realism. I try to do pencil sketches of realism. I just haven't had a chance to in a hot minute just because tattooing really does take a lot of my time. So, when the opportunity came that somebody wanted to do a portrait, I was super nervous about that because,
Sure. Yeah.
like, portraits are one of the hardest things you can do. Portraits,
yeah.
cover-ups, also like color realism, anything like that, super difficult. And again, I'm pretty early in my career right now, so I'm trying
2.5 years and you're doing tattoos like this, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Golly.
I got a long way to go. The thing is, what y'all can see there is not what I see there. Just because, I look up to such good tattoo artists, and I'm around such good tattoo artists all the time. So I hold myself to their standard. And that's what helped me get better. I'm
Definitely.
super hard on myself, and I don't find competition around here. Everybody is on their own path and stuff. Who I hold as competition, because I eventually want to be as good as them, if not better, is the best in the industry.
Sure.
And when you hold yourself at that standard, you can't help it but get better. If you sit at the shop thinking about, damn, I did this wrong, definitely not going to make that mistake next time. You kind of grow from it. And I think I'm a decent tattooer where I'm at, but it's nowhere to where I want to be, or I know that I'm going to be at one point.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
you are going to be a great.
Yes.
I think you're a great tattooer already,
Yes.
obviously. But man, that's definitely a good way to like stay sharp and stay focused and keep growing. The amount of people I know, you're in the short 2.5 years that you've been tattooing, your clientele has probably grown a
Yes.
bit. Obviously, we're big fans. On the day to day, what is the most common thing that people are coming in asking you to do? If you had to
Well,
narrow it down.
from time to time, it's different. Honestly, probably like roses, stuff, flowers, black work, floral pieces and stuff. That's probably the most common things. Every now, like I try to broaden my horizons and do as much as I can. So, it really depends. I get a ton of small things that people want, like names, paw prints and stuff.
Paul Brent.
Yeah, well, I try to do as much as I can, and I don't want to be that asshole guy that turns down your
I
tattoo.
don't do that.
Yeah, and I
So
and
you're a yes man when it comes to tattoo.
I try to be.
But
I
does it
try-
almost kind of get overwhelming?
Yes.
too?
I was
about to
But-
say,
or
dude.
does it kind of keep you on your toes?
A bit of both. Like, honestly, I feel bad telling somebody that. I would never tell anybody that tattoo is not worth my time or anything, because that's a
Well, there's more
shitty way.
eloquent ways to say it.
Yeah. Well, if I turn down someone's tattoo because it's simple, I feel like an asshole, and I probably seem like an asshole, and it's more I want to focus on certain things, but at the same time I don't want to. I mean, this person found me on internet and wants to get tattooed by me. That's a big honor to me. That makes me feel really good about myself, and I would hate to be the guy that turns them down. Now, if it's a tattoo that I don't excel at, or I don't know much about the technique, I don't feel ashamed of turning that down.
Well, sure.
And if I know somebody who does that technique, best believe I'm going to, point you in the right direction. But it is overwhelming. It's very overwhelming, because my day-to-day is like this, especially. Okay, let's take a day that I go from nursing to tattooing.
Dude,
Okay.
don't say how you do it.
I worked 12-hour shift last night. Right. I woke up at like 5:30, went to work, did that, got off work. As soon as I got off, I tried to answer one or two messages before I got some sleep. But on a regular week, if I'm not doing this, it would be go from that, leave this tattoo shop, leave the hospital, go to the tattoo shop, get a couple hours of sleep if I can, possibly do a tattoo that day, and message people back whenever I get a free chance. But, on the days that I tattoo, I usually wake up, I'm drawing until it's time for me to leave for the appointment. I'll set up and everything. Maybe if I'm lucky, get something to eat before I start tattooing. Tattoo all day because I'm slower than dog shit, for real. And then at the end of the day, break down, start drawing for the next day's appointment. So literally, it's very hard for me to get back into messages, especially because they add up.
Dude, I can't. Are most people reaching out to you on Instagram?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to go like purely on Instagram, because when you start having people hitting you up on like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, this or that,
Or
when
like have your own website or
yeah, well, I thought about it, because there are artists that like book, but I kind of like having free range of what I put where. If someone just was like, okay, $50 deposit, book for this day at this time, a lot of the times I get a brief description of what they're wanting, but I don't know exactly what they're wanting. And honestly, some weeks you're going to do a lot more stuff that you don't want to post, that you're not, super into, or it doesn't fit your style that you want to post on social media.
Fair enough.
And I don't want to have full weeks where I'm doing that and I don't have anything to put out there to show my work off, I could show off every tattoo that I do, but honestly, I think it would probably hamper growth more than it would help, just because people don't go on there. And what you want to do at first glance is to be able to have a particular style, if you can. So people are like, oh, he does this, So, I don't want to have everything all over the place. And I've thought about maybe even potentially posting smaller tattoos on like my stories and stuff. But it's just been a pain in the ass just posting when you can, because there's certain algorithms you got to go by,
Plus, you fall into, like, if you're just posting roses all the time, then people are only going to
He's
come
the
to
rose
you.
guy, man. You need rose, you need rose. Yeah.
Roses and anchors,
I
baby.
mean, there's a
Roses and
tattoo
anchors.
there's a tattoo artist that does nothing but owls with crowns and stuff. And as cool as that is, his tattoos are sensational. I don't know anybody who can do an owl better than this man. But it would be, I don't know, it just messed with my ADD, my ADHD, man. It would be really hard. And that's another thing that kind of makes things hectic as well. I would never use like mental health as a crutch or anything, but it's so hard focusing for me sometimes.
Sure.
Can't stay still, and I can't sit down for long enough to go through messages. And like I said, I wish it was a simple process. Like, you want this tattoo? Yes. Right. When are you available? This time, but you get 50 people that you're messaging and they can all respond back at certain times. Some people it's going to take days and stuff, and I tend to not like answering messages when I'm in the middle of tattooing as well.
Oh, that's fair.
I try. I mean, someone's
Put the gun down. Let me get on my phone.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Miracle?
It's disrespectful, so, most of my free time goes back to messaging people or drawing. But when it comes to like tattooing, if you're paying to be there for a day with me, you're going to get a day with me. If we have breaks and stuff, I'll talk to you and you have all my attention, because if you're my client, you're paying to be there, you deserve that respect.
Yeah.
It's true. After our session, he bought us pizza. He got Domino's.
Well, you were there for a while. I mean, that piece you did.
It was a
on
full
him,
day,
It was
yeah.
a full day.
Yeah, I try to be realistic. If someone's going to pay me hundreds of dollars, the least I can do is get them some food if they're sitting there all day.
No, it was great. It was a wonderful experience. It was awesome.
How many messages on average do you get?
It's
I'm sure it's only gotten worse.
yeah,
It's only going to get worse.
well, yeah. I mean, honestly, it will. The thing is, half the messages I get are people that are interested in something, but will probably not get it. Another.
They're just kind of feeling it out.
Yeah, saying about how much I charge for stuff and what's my availability. I get a lot of people that are trying to get in, that week, which nowadays it's impossible to do unless I have a freak cancellation or anything. I really can't fit anybody in, especially on larger tattoos. Now, if you want something small, I'll come in early, to do what I can, or stay a little bit later to work with you. But larger tattoos, I like to spend a specific day. I am a slow tattooer. I like to take my time. And,
well, something that's getting permanently inked on your body, I would, that's
Yeah,
fair.
so
That's
you
fair.
You walk
Take
in,
your
like,
time.
hey, this is my day.
Yeah.
He's not like, dude, I got 20
He's not cleaning the chair from somebody else. It's like,
dude,
Well-
I got to get you out of here in 17 minutes. Let's do this.
Right.
Well, I also try not to charge like an hourly rate too, because I am slow. I like to take my time and make sure every tattoo that leaves the shop is something that I would feel comfortable on me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I spend that time and try to be fair to my clients. It's bit me in the ass pricing wise sometimes, but
Say, dude.
but I like to make sure I take my time.
Are you tattooing every day?
I try to. Or not at the hospital days, no.
Say, dude, you're
yeah.
the hardest working tattooer I know. Golly, that's crazy. Most of the people, this is their full time gig, just
Yeah,
tattooing.
Just tattooing, yeah.
When are you gonna make that leap?
Well-
or are you just happy working your ass off?
No, I'm not happy with it. Honestly, after COVID, it kind of burnt me out hard. I've been burnt out of nursing for a hot minute.
Yeah.
It's a really easy field to get burnt out on
Sure.
because the bureaucracy behind it, you know. Helping people is great. The money is decent, you know. But at the end of the day, if you're having to deal with politics and infighting all the time, you know, it just gets so damn old. You know, and I'm a tattooer, you know. I like to draw and have fun, and I don't give a shit about the little minute stuff. But you take, like, for instance, a unit full of 50-something-year-old women who have nothing to relate to you
Yeah.
and are just hell-bent on complaining about everything all the time, you know. It's just not a place that I like. And then on top of it, you have to, especially the past 2 years, miss out on time with family to take care of people that are really sick. Or, you know, you're in a COVID unit, you know, and you're having to bust ass to make sure you don't get sick, or you got to make sure that no one else gets sick around you. And
Were you working in a COVID unit?
At one point, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, man,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
At one point, we had a contamination on the stock unit, and we're a closed unit, so, you know, double set of doors locked, and that's what I do. I'm a psych nurse, so I do a lot of wrestling with people.
buddy.
Oh,
You know,
man.
a lot
Talk
of,
about stress.
How are you doing this, man?
Yeah.
well,
Golly.
you know, it's a specific field that I felt kind of guided to work in, because you talk to nurses, and not many of them want to do that field. You know, and before I started, I was like,
Give me the
I
hardest
mean, yeah,
job.
you want to get locked. My unit's behind 2 sets of locked doors.
Sign me up. I
Yeah.
want that one.
well, the thing is, you know, I had problems with depression, anxiety, and like I said, ADHD. So, you know, I was like, you know, life's been real hell for me sometimes. You know, I want to make sure to help out people as much as I could that have went through that same struggle. But little did I know that psych isn't always like that. The minority of your patients are like that. Most of the time, it's, you know, indigent people who are on drugs, you know, who are actively psychotic from substance abuse, you know, and those people are violent. Those people are aggressive and stuff. And then when it's not that, we also have a geriatric psych unit, which is also rough because you take somebody with dementia, oftentimes they're just as aggressive and violent as somebody who is on drugs, you know. And the thing is, you can't even feel bad about it. You can't be upset about it because these people have a disease that's eating their brain away, you know. So if I was thinking I was at home and some strange dude in a mask comes in to try and take my pants off to change my underwear,
Yeah.
you know, because
Sure.
I've sold myself, you know, I would be fighting too, you know. But the thing is, it's a high stress environment. And it doesn't help that a lot of hospitals don't care about the staff, or it feels like that, you know,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of hospitals that are kind of ran by accountants and stuff, and you got to have that.
It's a business.
Yeah, you got to have that. You got to have that running. But at the end of the day, you know, cutting staff as much as you can and getting the patients, as many patients as you can. It's not the best environment, you know, and it's frustrating, you know. And also, you know, some people, they're so short-staffed, they're getting called every day, you know, trying to come in. You know, honestly, the way I work, it's impossible for me to work extra, you know. So, luckily, there's that. But, you know, it's just hard all around. I respect all nurses, but it's a sucky job to be in right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't see how you're doing it, man. Golly.
Well,
That sounds so hard.
The exit is in the near future. You know, I can't really go into too many details about it, but, you know, the main reason I've stayed in nursing, besides wanting to help people, and, you know, I had a degree that I got a full scholarship for, and I busted my ass for
Wanna
3
make
years.
it worth it, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you know, I'd feel bad for just giving up a career that I worked 3 years for, 4 years for, you know. But at the same time, it's just gotten old and old. And the thing is, tattooing doesn't really give you insurance. You know, the benefits aren't there. You know,
Sure.
you're an independent contractor, so you are in charge of your own, you know, destiny later on in life when it comes to money and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely a safety net with having like a normal. I say normal. Your job's not normal, but having a structured job versus going out on your own.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, I hope I can keep the calendar full and stay busy, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you can, man.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
well, it's getting to the point where I'm losing money being at the hospital rather than being at the shop.
Yeah.
I'm you know, it would probably I would make more money if I was just spending out of pocket for insurance, you know. So it's getting to that point where, you know, it's futile just driving out that. You know, plus riding in the car for 3 hours a day, driving back and forth.
Dude, and you're doing the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe you stuck with it as long as you have, man.
Yeah.
And to still advance your tattooing career to the point where it is now. In just 2.5 years, you know? Like
Well, I'm hungry, you know. I grew up poor, you know, and, you know, both my mom and my dad both kind of taught me, you know, whatever you do, be good at it, work hard at it, you know. And, you know, we grew up broke. I mean, we weren't like starving or anything, but at the same time, you know, once you've been there, once you go have Christmases where you don't get anything and
Sure.
you know, days where you're seeing your parents cry because they don't have the funds to really pay bills for the month. You don't want to be back there. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, going from that to this, it's been an easy transition. And I've been running myself down, not gonna lie. You know, there's definitely been some physical repercussions from it, mental repercussions.
Yeah,
but
dude.
but
You gotta let the gas, you know, let your foot off the throttle just a little bit.
yeah. Well,
Give
you
yourself
got
some downtime.
you got people like Elon Musk and stuff that are heads of
Dude, if
multiple
you're comparing
companies
yourself to
and stuff.
Elon, then yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like that. Well, you have like Edison. Those are people that I really look up to. You know, so you see people like Elon Musk who is one dude. Sure, he has like AIDS and stuff, and like people that can help him. But you know that as much as he was able to accomplish, you know, what's to say that I couldn't accomplish something like that with my goals one day? You know, so
Your comparison. Elon's putting people on Mars.
I'm
I
putting
can
Mars
do
on
this.
people,
I'm putting
baby.
Mars on
yeah, you're not wrong. You know.
So, for anybody listening that wants to get a tattoo by Ricky, be patient because the man is busy. The man is
It's
busy.
worth it though.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more into getting back with people, and I'm trying to be realistic. But like I said, when you're getting messages from 4 different sources or 5 different sources, because the 222 page is still running, you still have people asking for tattoos there, but I'm the only one on there, and I
Really?
haven't had the time to really shut it down or tell people, hey, you know, this isn't a business anymore.
Shoot,
So,
yeah, you got to delete that, man.
Yeah.
Golly.
yeah, there's that. There's the Great Wilderness Tattoo. Their Instagram and Facebook people are constantly wanting tattoos or asking, you know. And the thing is, you know, I didn't feel right when I first started working at the Great Wilderness I didn't feel right posting or taking potential clients away knowing that I was going to eventually leave or thinking we were going to reopen the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a ton of clients that try to get through the website, but more recently I've been posting more on the Facebook and Instagram. So, you know,
On the shop pages.
yeah, on the
Okay.
shop page. So now I'm starting to get that in. Then I also have Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. So it's really easy to overlook things sometimes.
Sure.
You know, and I think people think that I'm an asshole because I don't really. Sometimes I overlook people's messages, or sometimes I let the thread die, and it's not because I'm intentionally ignoring anybody. I mean, nobody deserves that, you know, especially when you're a business of your own, you know. But sometimes people get overlooked, and you know, I try to be real and I try to apologize with people and I try to get back with people, but just, you know, I need to find a better way of doing it,
Need an
honestly.
assistant. That's
Yeah.
what you need.
Yeah, which
You
is
need a receptionist.
yeah, which is crazy because, like I said, you know, I'm only 2.5 years in, and I find it hard, and it's going to get harder and harder. You know, so that's definitely something I need to work on.
Dude, you got to spike those prices, man. And then hire you some help, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I saw that I actually started following the butcher. What's his name?
Yeah, Steve.
Steve.
Steven.
He's a really great tattoo artist. He recently moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
But I think this week he was doing like a guest spot back at Great Wilderness. Or is that...
He might be doing it right now.
Okay.
See, me and Steven.
Steve.
Yeah,
Okay.
me and Steven, when I came to the shop, he had been an artist for a minute, and I was new. And me and him were frenemies at first,
Okay.
like me and him were kind of like back and forth in each other, arguing at the shop. But I have nothing but love for Steven, honestly. I think, honestly, me and him having like an inner shop competition with each other kind of made us both better artists. And I appreciate the fuck out of Steven for that, for real.
Well, his artwork's really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, how many people, like you said, the Great Wilderness, like an open floor plan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tattoo artists working.
Yeah.
When I was there, the 2 times that I've been there, it's like there's a whole different set of people each time I was there. I don't know if y'all share chairs or whatever, but how many people actually work for that shop?
Right now, because we just had 2 artists leave because we had like a restructuring of the shop. There's me, Basil, Chaz, Michaela, and Bragan at the moment, and then Braxton is doing piercing. So like
So it's
4
just
or 5
6 people.
Yeah,
Okay.
6 people.
Okay.
And they're always looking to add more people. But right now it's just kind of we changed the way that we paid our cut. And sometimes that doesn't line up with certain people, and it's all love.
The way they structure stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, we're not at capacity. We have some space for experienced tattoo artists, but I don't think we're taking on any apprentices or anything like that.
Who has time for an apprentice? Have you had anybody reach out to you that wanted to apprentice under you?
No, I probably won't apprentice anybody for a long time, just
Okay.
because,
Well, there's no time in the day.
well,
It's
not
like-
not only that, I don't know enough to teach somebody. I'm still early in my career. And like I said, I'm still learning every day. I'm still teaching myself more and more, learning from more of the artists. Like I said, Dave was my mentor, but I've had a lot of people that were my mentor for real. I've learned a lot from Dave. I learned a lot from my friend Jen, who's also another great tattoo artist. Chaz, Basil. Everybody's kind of taught me a little bit. And Yogi Barrett, big name tattoo artist out of Atlanta,
Yeah.
has helped me out tremendously. I did one of his seminars at his shop and learned a lot from him. And I think learning from him was just a little bit of a turning point of what I want to aim for and what I want to do in the future.
Okay.
So I'm really grateful for that. And I'm just trying to learn some new stuff every day. Like here recently, I took up calligraphy,
Okay.
which is never something I've ever been interested in. But
Calligraphy.
yeah.
Dude. Well, what do you want to do more of in the future? Or what are some of your maybe short-term goals?
Short-term goals would just be becoming a better tattoo artist in general, becoming a better blender, coming up with better color schemes, work on my line work on my saturation, work on how I take photographs with tattoos. You had said that I post every now and then on Instagram. And a lot of times I don't post people's tattoos, and people get pissed about it.
Where's my tattoo?
wasn't good enough?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I could be the world's best tattoo artist in the world. I could be the best tattoo artist in the world, but I'm not a photographer. So unfortunately, I try to take 50 to 100 shots of a tattoo every
Oh,
session.
I know. I was there. You're like, yeah, just keep posing.
Yeah.
Like, we've been at this for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
dude.
but the thing is, then I go through it and I'm like, none of these really captivate what the tattoo actually looks like, and that's the hard part about it, is actually finding, the way of taking pictures. So that's something else that I need to work on. I need to work on, how to actually get people in, work on, working out my schedule and getting people booked a certain way, So there's a lot that I'm just trying to take up now, and trying to learn from. I think in the future, I would like to learn more about like Chicano black work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more West Coast
Not
stuff.
familiar with that
Yeah.
particular
like black.
Artistic style.
Yeah, it's just the stipple shading, like letters, portraits, realism, stuff like that. That's
Okay.
one side of it. And I also want to work more on just becoming better neo-traditionally and like neo-traditional leaning traditional.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think you got that style locked in because, like I said, that's really what I guess I'd looked at so many artists and so much artwork that there was just something about the way you draw that I can't clearly articulate or clearly not do myself, but I could just see it in your work. And to anybody that's listening, I highly encourage you to go on your page and check out your work because it's truly amazing.
well, thank you.
And yeah, man, as soon as I found you, I was like, this is the dude. This is it. And I messaged you, and then you got back with me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more tattoos from you.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know, the thing is, I think I'm a decent tattoo artist for the time I've been in. But you look in places like Atlanta, you look in places like Nashville, or other places of the world, they have apprentices who can tattoo 10 times better than me. You know, so I'm always looking on just being better in general. You know,
Yeah.
I think neo-traditionally, there's a lot more that I can do.
Is that where the demand is? Is that what most people are asking for? Or is it all over the board?
It's all over the board. A lot
Okay.
of people want realism right now.
Really?
And
Okay.
realism isn't my forte. You know, I would love to delve into black and gray realism or more of a painterly realism, but it's really not what I do. But I'm not really. I think, like I said, black work would probably be the most in-demand tattoo style at the moment. There's no doubt that people want traditional tattoos. Each tattoo style kind of has a demand for it right now.
Sure.
But like, you know, I don't see one that really sticks out more than the other at the moment.
Okay.
You know? There's always a subgenre that people really appreciate and stuff. Honestly, I take that back. I'd say the most in demand field is tiny, delicate tattoos.
Really?
Like, tiny, delicate tattoos, like Kelsey tattoos, what tattooers call them. You know,
Little
like,
feather or a
Yeah.
little
yeah.
triangle or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And if you want to do that all day, you can make hella money doing it.
Seems like it'd be pretty quick. you
Yeah.
know, a lot of quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So
But I just want to. I guess the future goals is I just want to push my boundaries and learn some of the techniques that I'm more attracted to that other artists do that I do not. You know, there's always something somebody else is trying. Like there's some dudes in Argentina right now who are doing some crazy neo-traditional, leaning traditional. There's people in Spain that are doing some of the best traditional work that I've ever seen. You know, places like the Slavic countries. Right now they're doing crazy realism. You know, the world tattooing is becoming more obtainable, and you know, you have places in the world that they just stand out for certain things.
yeah.
And honestly, you know, I respect each and every one of them, and I want to learn from all of them.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you got Korea. There's people doing tiny little color realism tattoos that look incredible. You know, all over the world, you know, people are taking their local art and kind of mixing it with, you know, the traditional styles that have come up in tattooing, like realism, like, you know, neo-traditional or traditional, and they're making it their own. And that's what my goal is to make my own, you know, come up with something that no one else is doing, you know, and that's so hard. How you gonna, I mean, art's been around for tens of thousands, of hundreds of thousands of years.
How do you make your mark and stand out?
How do you
Yeah.
come up with something new?
What's some of the biggest pieces that you've done? Have you done any like full back pieces, full sleeves, anything like that?
I started lining one up, but the artist that was working at the shop ended up moving to another shop, and I just never got a chance to finish that.
Okay. Well, maybe I can line up your first sleeve.
Yeah.
'cause I've got a lot of real estate
Well, I got
left
some.
that I want.
I think we both do.
to-
actually.
I've
I'm
done
ready to take that plunge. You know.
I've done some black work sleeves here and there. Again, it was another one of those issues where, you know, I haven't had a chance, or I didn't really get good pictures of it. And when half of it's healed, half of it's inflamed, that's not really the most appealing picture in the world, you
Sure.
know.
Fair enough.
So, you know, I would love to get some healed photos of the one or two sleeves that
Oh, so you've done a few.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 or 3 full sleeves that I've done that I've completed, or there's at least one that I've done, one that's almost done. I had an issue with my iPad, my dumbass. I had made a pot of coffee and I was drawing in the back room,
Let me see where this is going.
getting my $1,600 iPad that I'm drawing on.
It's the Pro with the pencil and everything. Yeah.
I'm in the break room drawing and I'm making coffee. So I get done making the coffee and it was hot. So I take it off the burner and I put it on the microwave. And it's like a plastic table, sort of like with the setups on over there, right? So I have it sitting on the microwave. My iPad's right here. And I reach up to grab something out of the cabinets above me and I bump the table. The pot of coffee falls right in the middle of my iPad, bends it, breaks the screen, soaks it. So,
Dude.
And the thing is, all my designs that I'm continuing on people are on that iPad. You know, I had a Shurion insurance with it, but those fuckers, they denied me for my insurance claim. So I'm going to have to keep calling them and keep pestering them because what the hell did I pay money for?
Yeah.
You know?
When did this happen? Was this recent?
This happened like 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay.
And luckily, you know, when I first started at the Great Wilderness and everything, I was still hand drawing tattoos. And my friend Jen was like, hey, I have an extra iPad. Why don't you use that? You'll love it. It'll speed up your process a good bit. And, you know, there's definitely, you know, I will never say anything bad about people who draw their tattoos up from scratch. It's something that I couldn't do just because the process takes so long. Because if you have to redraw, you have to redraw it over and over and over. And, you know, I've been there. I've done that. I did that for a year and a half. You know, it sucks. I don't like it. So any way that I can streamline the process for me, you know, I can take up. But, you know, the iPad just made everything so much easier. So that iPad that Jen let me borrow, he never got it back. He never asked for it back. So it was in my closet. So I've just been using that for right now. Yeah.
Cool. Dude, that's crushing. Tragic.
Yeah, it sucked. I was working on a tattoo at that moment.
You're like, hey man, what'd you want again? We're going to start over.
Yeah. I was almost done. And the thing is, I was having a bad day in general. And the coffee smashes on my iPad and then goes all over my crotch. So I thought my legs were gonna look like Freddy Krueger's face when I took my pants off.
Oh my god!
But I ended up doing the tattoo and it turned out all right. What I did, I just while it was still working because it was like flickering and stuff, I sent it to I think Bragan's iPad or somebody's iPad at the shop.
Were they able to get the stuff off of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting to send that off and get that fixed. You know, but.
So what software are you using? Do you just use like Illustrator?
Procreate.
Or Procreate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was always curious if there's an actual software out there for tattoo artists specifically.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can, like design it and even see maybe what it looks like on like a different part of the body or wherever they want it and stuff.
Well, Russ Abbott, he's a kind of like a tattoo visionary. He works out of Georgia, right? He started a company called Tattoo Smart. I believe that's what it is. I don't want to say anything wrong, but they're always thinking about ways to improve the technology of tattooing. And they have thought about, you know, using projectors and stuff to see what a stencil would look like on, and you know, through Tattoo Smart you can get like brush sets and stuff that kind of make the job easier, you know. But Procreate is probably the #1 software for tattooers. I know some people use Photoshop and stuff. Now, definitely Photoshop has some benefits compared to Procreate, but I'm just more of a Procreate fan at the moment.
From a clientele perspective, and this is something I've asked before, but when I come to you with a tattoo idea, what's the best way to get my idea across to you in an efficient manner where you can
mock up your own half-assed design in Photoshop?
That's what I'm saying.
With Photoshop different pictures of pictures.
I think I did that. You're joking. You're making fun of me, but I actually I took a photo of my arm and I went into Photoshop because I was trying to make it as easy on you to get my vision. You know what I mean? Or if it was you, or it
He's
may have been
showing
Jay.
everybody at the shop like, look at this dude. Look what he wants.
But for people that are messaging you, do you have a preferred method? Do you want them to shoot you pictures? Do you want them to just describe it? Is there some kind of software that we could use to help you?
No, not usually what I like to do. Because I'm a custom tattooer, unless it's something small like a name or something that I can type in on the iPad. Most of everything I do is custom. So I get the idea of people. I see how big it's going to be, what location, if it has to fit in anywhere. And usually a person-to-person consult is the best way to do that. It's the best.
So you can measure and all that stuff.
Yeah. Especially, I don't do cover-ups unless I could do a face-to-face consult. Just because you can get the pictures of them, you can talk to the person, you can see what they want. But what tends to help me out the most is I get people to send me reference images of the type of art they like, the type of tattoos they like. I will never copy those, but I'll know stylistically what they're into, And a lot of the times if they come to me, they've seen the style of work that I have. A lot of the times, if I add my spin on something, stylistically that they've done, that other people were wanting, and kind of mash it up with other people's ideas and stuff, or like stylistically what they're wanting, it works out for the best.
So most times just send you some reference images and you kind of draw it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to, like, if someone can say, I'm wanting a skull that's in this style, and they could send me a picture of a damn truck that's done in a specific style, and I'll get the picture, for the most part. It doesn't have to be on point, but if someone's wanting something, they got an idea in their mind, they're wanting it specifically that way. Like if someone wants a skull with flowers, they show me the type of skull they like, they show me the type of flowers they like. If they give me free range on being able to actually draw that up, I can promise you I can come up with something. The best part about that is, since I am a custom tattoo artist, if you come in and you're not feeling the design, I have no problems like reworking it or getting it to the point where you want. But the more information I get from the client, the better. The more ideas of what they don't like, what they do like, stylistically what they're drawn to.
I'm sure that's a whole challenge in and of itself, is just getting to the nuts and bolts of what your clients want.
Yeah, it can be. I actually enjoy it though. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle, and like problem solving and stuff. That's one of the things that I like about nursing is the problem solving portion of it. So, when it comes to tattoo, doing the same thing, it's kind of entertaining. It's kind of fun. But that's usually the method that I like to go with when coming up with an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ricky, thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule to come and talk with us. I know we've been trying to line this up for a while, and we could probably talk for hours about technique and all that stuff. If people are interested in reaching out to you, what's the best way? What's the preferred method to get in touch with you?
Probably the best method would be on Instagram at Price, PRICE _TATTOO, Price _tattoo.
We'll have links to everything in the description.
We'll link it, and we got your Instagram pulled up here and stuff. And
well, thank y'all for inviting me, and thank y'all for anybody out there listening. It's pretty cool,
dude. I'm a big fan, and like I said, I look forward to getting some more tattoos. I'm gonna talk with you about some ideas after this. Yeah,
definitely.
Well, sweet man, thanks for coming.
No problem.